What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another video. My name is Brady Quinn. Let's get started. All right, I had enough time today to do a little news and notes from around the league style video. I just picked 5 news stories that I thought were relevant with the upcoming draft approaching, and let's dive right into it. Okay, so the first story that popped up, a lot of people noticed, was that the Giants are reportedly taking a very strong look at Justin Herbert for the draft this weekend, and I don't think that that is a story that to take seriously, that they're gonna look to draft him, because even the most casual fan knows that they have Daniel Jones on the roster. He's the guy that's taking over for the now retired Eli Manning. All their eggs are in the Daniel Jones basket, so they're not going to be taking Justin Herbert, even though there is precedent now having been set for this, with the Cardinals taking Kyler Murray 1 year after they took Josh Rosen. I can't say his name apparently, and at number 10 overall the previous year. Are they being serious about this? No. What this is the New York Giants just trying to build up trade value so that people go up and get Justin Herbert a pick ahead of them with Detroit. They're looking for a defensive player to fall to them at number 4 overall, because you figure the situation falls as is. The Bengals are going to take Joe Burrow, and then the Redskins and the Lions are both going defense, whether that's Chase Young, Jeffrey Okudah, or somebody else. So there's obviously a defensive player that the Giants want, so they're trying to push up trade value so that teams leapfrog them and push that star defensive player down. Whether or not that'll happen, we don't know, but at least they're trying. All right, moving on next. Next news story of the day, the Jaguars are currently shopping Leonard Fournette, and I'm not sure if that's a serious thing that they're doing or if they're just doing it to show him that the league doesn't care about his contract demands, or that they value him more less than he originally thought. But let's say that the Jaguars are interested in dealing away Leonard Fournette, because they've pretty much cut the rest of the team that they've had. Miles Jack, DJ Chark, D.D. Westbrook, and Gardner Minshew are about the only familiar faces that are going to be on this team next year right now. Well, Josh Allen, almost forgot about him. So looking at it, I mean, where could he possibly be traded to? I think some landing spots might include the Buffalo Bills. They're looking for a running back in this draft. Maybe the Los Angeles Chargers, since they moved on from Melvin Gordon, now currently on the roster. Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson remain. I don't think he should go to Tampa Bay. I think that would be the worst case scenario for Tom Brady, because Leonard Fournette is not known for his passing game repertoire. So let's not send him to Tampa Bay. You happy with that, Tampa Bay fans? I defended you guys. Maybe he goes to the Steelers. Maybe he goes to, really hard to think of a good landing spot for him right now. But time will tell. We'll see what happens. All right, then the next news story of the day, the 49ers are reportedly shopping both of their first-round picks. Now, remember, they traded into the first round with the Indianapolis Colts for 13 overall, sending DeForest Buckner to Indianapolis, and they still currently own the 31st pick in the draft. Trading down makes sense for the 49ers because they really need more draft capital. Prior to the DeForest Buckner trade, they only had, I think it was like a handful of picks, but the real interesting part was between pick 31, they had no picks until I think it was pick 115, if I remember correctly. My math might be a little off. So them trading down really is no surprise that they would want to do that. There's a lot of players that they could target lower than the spots where they're currently at. So I think the 13th pick will definitely be traded down, because I anticipate some very important players to slide in this process out of the top 10. So I do look for that to happen. And 31, they might have a choice to stay, but I think a lot of teams are going to want to move up, get a quarterback in the last 2 spots in that round, so they can get that 5th-year option. So I do foresee that these rumors being true for the 49ers. All right, then moving on, Peter King had some interesting news today. He dropped his mock draft, and then he also sent out a little tidbit of information that the craziest rumor that he's heard throughout this entire process is that the Kansas City Chiefs are interested in trading up to get Henry Ruggs. Now, he said something like Henry Ruggs is one of the speedster wide receivers of this class, and he said something to the effect of they're just looking to get every single track star on this team to make it impossible to cover anyone and make Patrick Mahomes a superstar, which he already is. But imagine Henry Ruggs, Mecole Hardman, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, all in the same wide receiver core, 4 verts all day long. This is basically cheating in Madden, like year 2007, or that one year where you had the jetpacking glitch. Very impossible to defend, and I think you're going to see teams absolutely mimic this stuff. Jalen Reagor's in the top. We saw Marquise Brown go as the first wide receiver overall last year. I think teams are really going to be looking for speed. So expect to see a lot of the speed wide receivers go very early. Henry Ruggs, KJ Hamler, Jalen Reagor, who I've already mentioned. If you got speed and you can blitz, or well, not blitz, but you know what I mean, blitz down the field on an offense, your draft stock is going up. The other thing that was interesting of note was Peter King released his mock draft, and I think the most juiciest nugget out of that was that he has Tua Tagovailoa falling out of the top 10 and eventually going to the New England Patriots, who trade up with the 49ers at 13 overall. So that is sort of, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on right now, especially being only a few days away from the actual draft itself. The Justin Herbert talk is just ascending like I've never seen before. It kind of reminds me of a sort of mellowed down version of the year that Baker Mayfield was drafted 1 overall, because everybody was like, oh, Sam Darnold, oh no, it's going to be Josh Allen. Everybody was pretty settled on Sam Darnold being the #1 overall pick that year, right up until a few days before the draft, and then all the rumors started coming out about Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. Josh Rosen. Was Josh Rosen in that draft? I can't remember. Yeah, he was. So this could be a repeat of that, but cranked all the way up to 11. I don't think Justin Herbert is going to be in the top 5 or the top 10. That's just my opinion. You might have a different one. We'll see who's right. But if I were to guess, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Tua Tagovailoa is the one that gets drafted high, and Justin Herbert is the one that's going to slide. Again, that's just my take on it. But Peter King's mock draft, very interesting read. I recommend everybody go read it. It's definitely worth 15 minutes of your time. All right, so the last piece of news for the day is all of the reports coming out that they're having trial runs with their tech. It's because we're doing this draft from everybody's home facility instead of out in public because of COVID-19. And they're not having a good go at it with the technical difficulties so far. And it kind of amazes me. Like, I understand that this is something that we're doing, but at the same time, you're doing the draft typically from your team facility and reporting into wherever the draft is being held. Typically, it was always in New York, and then it was in Chicago, and then we were going to do Vegas this year. So you're telling me that you can't do this at home. Just how have you not figured this out by now? I mean, I can do an Xbox Live game, match made, while I'm streaming Spotify on the same console, linked to my cell phone, live stream on Mixer, while we've also got all this other stuff going on. Figure it out. Let's go. You guys are supposed to be at the top of your game for this, and I understand this is brand new, but it's kind of funny that we're seeing the complaints come out now. But I do expect them to have it figured out and be a little bit more smooth when draft day actually comes. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this little news video of the day. 5 news stories that I had time to share with you and give my take on. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.